Well, well. Another envelope. Another one of you, sitting alone with the lights too bright and the thoughts too loud. Good. That's exactly who this letter is for. Come closer. I want to tell you a secret about pain. The kind nobody tells you at the funeral, or the wedding, or the group chat where everyone's pretending they're fine. Ready? Here it is. Before the wound ever touches you, you've already built it a house, given it a couch, treated it like a guest of honor. Then when the real hurt shows up, you act shocked, like life betrayed you twice. No, life hit you once. Your own mind got there first. Most people don't lose sleep over what happened. They lose sleep replaying a film they wrote themselves, fear as the soundtrack. An unanswered text becomes rejection. Quiet becomes hatred. A delay becomes catastrophe. The mind is a cinema, selling tickets to disasters that never arrived. You're not weak for hurting. You get weak when you sign up for pain before it's even scheduled. Faith isn't pretending nothing stings. It's refusing to bow to fear. Do what's in front of you, then hand the rest to God. Tonight, stop holding funerals for dreams still breathing. Stop bleeding from wounds nobody actually gave you. Funny, you survive the day, then the thoughts jump you the second your head hits the pillow. Wake up. Pain gets its moment, not your whole life. Feel it when it lands. Release it when it's done. Don't bow to it twice. Here's the part nobody admits. You call it healing. But some nights you go back and poke the wound, just to check if it still hurts on command. As if torturing the memory enough will finally rewrite the ending. There's a difference between learning from pain and being loyal to it. Learning takes the lesson and moves on. Loyalty builds an altar. But pain isn't who you are. It's a visitor. Brutal, sure, still a visitor. The mind loves a show. What if they come back? What if they don't? What if you're not enough? What if this is the end? Stop. Those aren't doors. They're traps dressed as questions. Put your hand on something real. Your breathing is real. This room is real. Mercy is real. Tomorrow hasn't happened yet. You're allowed to hurt, allowed to be exhausted. What you're not allowed to do is crown fear king. Don't grieve people who haven't left. You thought you were preparing for the worst. Really, you were rehearsing despair. Come back to this one breath, to what's in your hands right now. Say one prayer, take one honest step, and if the pain does arrive, meet it standing. Don't mistake peace for softness. Peace is discipline, looking at your own imagination and saying, enough, you don't run this house tonight. Everything looks like a monster through exhausted eyes. A small hiccup becomes a verdict. A delay becomes abandonment. Fear doesn't need chains. It only needs your attention. And attention, is a form of worship. Whatever you stare at gets bigger. Whatever you feed gets louder. Whatever you rehearse becomes normal. That's why calm starts to feel suspicious, like the quiet before punishment. It isn't. That's exhaustion talking in a deeper voice. Kill a thought before it grows teeth. I will not imagine betrayal tonight. Some fights have an appointed hour, and when it arrives, you'll be given exactly the strength that hour requires. Not the fake courtroom your mind holds at 2 a.m. Strength is issued for what's real, not for what's imagined. When the thought circles back, don't wrestle it like a noble duel. Name it. That's fear. That's memory. That is not prophecy. Let it pass without building it a throne. You can feel a storm without becoming the storm. Come back to solid ground. Your hands, water on your face, air in your lungs. One prayer. Nobody's asking you to kneel every time fear opens its mouth. Stand up quietly. inside yourself, not for an audience, for the one soul entrusted to you. If pain comes, meet it once. If loss comes, grieve it once. If disappointment comes, take the lesson and move. Not every thought deserves a courtroom. Some walk in dressed like truth, but their exhaustion wearing a deeper voice. You've been up too long, carried too much, stared at one shut door until all of life looked locked. A worn-out soul turns whispers into verdicts, hears silence, and decides, they hate me. Survives one hard night and calls it forever. Such a dramatic director, painting the final scene before the story's done. Pain makes a terrible narrator. Fear lies with total confidence. That's why you don't make permanent decisions in temporary darkness. Let the storm speak. Let the tears fall. You're human, not granite. But once the wave passes, don't hand it the pen. Don't let one brutal chapter rename the whole book. You've already survived days you were sure would break you. Walked into rooms with your chest caving in, and still answered people. You're not as fragile as fear insists. Fear sells weakness like luxury. Stay under the covers. Call it protection. No, that's a cage with nicer pillows. Get up out of the funeral you invented. Stop attending tragedies that don't exist yet. You owe the present your attention, your soul mercy, your faith trust. One breath, one step, one honest move. That's the whole assignment. Leave the unseen behind the curtain where it belongs. And if pain does show up later, let it find you rested, faithful, standing, not wrecked by shadows that were never real. A wound only has to hurt once, but imagination can turn it into a life sentence. Tonight you're not solving your whole life. You're coming back to the present, telling fear, you can knock, but you don't get to move in. The present isn't boring. It's where the power actually is. Fear keeps yanking you into tomorrow, because tomorrow can't defend itself yet. But today can talk back. Look at your hands, still moving. Your heart, tired, sure, but not dead. You call yourself finished while breathing evidence against your own claim. Maybe the sign you're waiting for is that you're still here, after everything you were sure would end you. Mercy doesn't always arrive as thunder. Sometimes it's just another sunrise. Don't turn your own mind into a prophet of disaster. Loud isn't holy. Scary isn't wise. Some thoughts are old wounds, wearing a judge's robe, shouting guilty, for trusting, for loving, for being human. Enough. You're allowed to learn a lesson without hating yourself for needing it. And still, somehow, you let fear give the closing argument. Fear is a terrible lawyer, arguing with shadows, fabricating evidence, then sending you the bill for your whole life. Don't pay it. Not with your sleep, your health, your prayers. That debt is fake. You tell yourself disappointment will sting less if you meet it early. It doesn't. It costs you twice, once in imagination, once for real, if it even shows up. A lot of the time, it never does. You just get older, standing inside a storm that already blew past your window. Come back, quietly. Drink water. Breathe. Sit up straight. Wash your face. Pray if your chest is shaking too hard to speak. Do the small thing fear can't stand, because it proves you're not trapped. You don't beat fear by shouting it down. You beat it by refusing to build your life around its stories. Let it knock, and simply don't answer. And when your mind says, what if it all falls apart? Something remains. Not a decoration tossed into a sentence. The ground underneath the ground. That's why you don't need to forecast every disaster to feel okay. Safety was never about knowing which doors might shut. It's knowing you won't be left standing there alone when one does. You forget the question that already saved you once. What if I get carried through it again? You've lived through things you once rehearsed as the end. Remember that, not to worship the pain, but to expose fear as a fraud. It promised you'd die. You're still breathing. It promised shame. You're still standing. Don't let anxiety become the thing you worship. You're seeing one dark corner and calling it the entire world. A tired mind will insult hope and call it being realistic. Real realism says life can hurt and healing can still happen. Look at the show fear puts on, the score, the lighting, the tragic final act. Honestly, it deserves an award. But you don't have to sit in the front row of your own destruction. Walk out while it's still monologuing. I know, sometimes it feels impossible. Your chest tightens, your stomach drops. You whisper, I can't do this. So don't do the whole life at once. Do this 1 minute. One breath is obedience when panic demands worship. You don't have to feel fearless before you move. Fearless was never the entry fee. Faith moves with a shaking hand. Faith says, I can't see the road, but I refuse to dig a grave in my own head. And please, stop calling yourself torture deep thinking. Sometimes you're digging deeply into old pain, imagined humiliation, a tomorrow that hasn't opened its eyes, until you've buried today alive underneath it. Come back to what's clean. Your next honest action, your next prayer, your next boundary, your next silence, if speaking will only reopen the wound. Real life gets built through small, obedient steps, not imaginary catastrophes. Even brave people shake. Even strong people lie awake. But fear can sit in the room without being handed the crown. Pain can knock without being handed the keys. So when the thought shows up, meet it right at the door. I see you, your fear. You are not God. Enough. Not tomorrow. Right now. Some prisons don't have bars. They have questions. What if? Why me? Who stays? Who leaves? And every question pulls up a chair around your chest until your breath has nowhere left to sit. You're not a servant of every dark possibility your mind invents. There's power in saying, I'll handle what's in front of me and leave the hidden part where it belongs. Fear wants a written guarantee that nobody will ever hurt you again. Life won't give you that paperwork. And still, you don't get to turn cruel just to feel protected. Let the wound teach you boundaries, not paranoia. Let the mistake teach you humility, not self-hatred. Look at today, not the monster your imagination sketched. Don't underestimate small obedience while waiting for a giant miracle. Get up. Move slowly if that's all you've got. But move. And when the thought circles back at night, that's not your fate returning. It's just noise at the gate. You are not obligated to open the door. There's real freedom in not needing to win every argument in your own head. Maturity is refusing to wrestle with a shadow. Your mind says, remember what happened last time. You answer, I remember, and I made it through anyway. Your mind says, what if they leave? You answer, then something greater stays. Your mind says, what if you fail? You answer, then I'll learn and rise. Same voice, new costume. Anxiety today, regret tomorrow, suspicion the day after. Same trap, same hunger for your peace. Starve it of your attention, your midnight conversations, your made-up scenarios. Feed what's real instead. Prayer, patience, work, silence, trust. Some pain never says sorry. You heal without waiting for its permission, by not making every new person pay off someone else's debt. Wisdom guards the heart. Fear just locks it in a basement, and calls that safety. Safe, but suffocating. Come out of the future you keep dying inside of. Out of the courtroom where you're always guilty, always late, never enough. Breathe. Feel the air come in, feel it leave. That's your proof. You're here. You're only responsible for here. If mercy comes, don't be too busy rehearsing a disaster to notice it knocking. A good day arrives, and instead of stepping into it, you inspect it. Check underneath for a hidden punishment. Why does this feel calm? What's about to go wrong? You've grown suspicious of peace, like it's a criminal in a clean disguise. That's what repeated pain does. Trains you to flinch before love even finishes its sentence. But the habits that got you through the storm aren't always the habits you need once the sky clears. Even if certain people repeat the same ugliness, you don't have to repeat the same collapse in response. Real strength gets quiet here, noticing the old panic rising and refusing to bow to it. I recognize this feeling. I know this dark room, but I'm not moving back in. You're allowed to leave old versions of yourself behind without resenting them. That anxious version was trying to keep you safe. But a guard is not supposed to become a jailer. Pause. Thank it. Then keep walking. Don't turn every closed door into a curse. Sometimes it's mercy wearing a harder face, delayed because your hands are still shaking from the last thing that nearly broke them. Don't rush what you can't see. Work, pray, heal, get ready. Your mind wants control more than truth. A full map before a single step. But faith was never a receipt. It's surrender that still takes action. You tie down what's yours to tie down, then stop pretending you own tomorrow. There's a strange arrogance buried inside anxiety. Snorts. If I worry hard enough, I can control what only a higher power controls. No. You're exhausted because you forgot where your limits are. Say it plainly. I have a limit. I don't know everything. I can't control every heart. And that doesn't make me unsafe. It makes me human. A memory is allowed to warn you. It is not allowed to rule you. You weren't put here to become a museum of your own wounds. Cancel the meeting with imaginary betrayal. And the next time your chest tightens, don't call it failure. It's just an old alarm going off. Let it scream fire in a room where nothing's burning. Check what's real. Then come back to the breath that never once abandoned you. Walk out, breathe, pray, start again. Chuckles, pain might visit, fear might whisper. But you don't open twice. So the next time the thought knocks, you get firm. Firm doesn't mean cold. It means you stop asking every emotion for a permission slip to run your life. Some feelings are loud because they're old, not because they're accurate. Repetition never made a lie holy. Tonight, when the same old picture shows up, look at it like a stranger handing you expired news. There's mercy hidden inside your limits. You can't know everything. Mercy. Snorts. If you were handed every unseen detail at once, your chest would collapse under knowledge human ribs weren't built to hold. Stop envying control. It's a leash fear puts around your neck and calls safety. The harder you pull, the tighter it gets. You wake up exhausted not because life destroyed you, but because you spent the night fighting fog. Stop fighting fog. Touch what's solid, your duty, your prayer, your body, your next honest apology if you owe one. Reality is solid ground. Fear is just smoke with a loud voice. Maturity was never about expecting blood in every room. It's checking the room, trusting what's bigger than you, and walking forward without dragging a coffin behind you. Let the past be your teacher, not your landlord. The wound says, "Remember me." You answer, "I remember." but I won't live here. The scar says, protect yourself. You answer, I will, but I won't turn cruel doing it. Cruelty is fear wearing armor. Bitterness is pain pretending to be strength. Open the window. Let light reach the parts of you you've been hiding, not for attention, for your own life. Whispers. Start small. One thought you don't chase down a rabbit hole. One prayer said with a shaky voice. Small wins aren't small when the enemy lives inside a habit. Real healing usually enters quietly. Like water, like sunrise. A breath you don't notice until you realize you're no longer choking. So don't dismiss quiet progress. If today you panicked for 10 fewer minutes, that counts. And when people misread your calm and call you distant, let them. You stopped offering your nervous system up as entertainment? Peace will feel foreign at first. You'll go looking for the old noise because chaos became familiar. But familiar isn't the same as home. Sometimes it's just the place that kept hurting you until you memorized the furniture. A cage can start to feel like home if you've slept in it long enough. Comfort isn't proof of truth. Sometimes it's just repeated damage wearing your own scent. You have to learn a new language now. The language of enough rest, enough silence, enough not knowing. Teach your body that calm doesn't mean disaster is loading. Fear is addicted to emergencies. It wants you refreshing, imagining, suspecting, confusing exhaustion with responsibility. Responsibility looks like action. Panic is just noise. Act where you can act. Apologize where you were wrong. Pray where fear's voice is louder than the truth. Snorts. But once you've acted, stop chewing on the same pain like it'll ever turn nourishing. You don't earn mercy by punishing yourself before life has even opened its mouth. Let today be today. Let tomorrow show up wearing its actual face, not the mask fear built for it. That's wisdom, not denial. I see the risk, but I won't worship it. I remember the wound, but I won't sleep inside it. A tight chest isn't armor. A racing mind isn't a strategy. Chuckles. Sometimes it's just fear clapping for its own performance in an empty room. Turn the lights on, not out there, in here. Name the thought plainly. This is fear. This is memory. This is old pain, not your destiny. You were only given one day at a time because one day is already sacred enough. Maybe part of you is scared that if you stop worrying, you'll get blindsided. Sighs. But worrying never actually protected you. It just made the pain feel familiar before it arrived, wore you out ahead of the test. Real protection is boundaries, prayer, patience, choosing truth, even while your nervous system screams old stories. Real protection is walking out before disrespect becomes normal, not inventing disrespect in rooms that were actually safe. There's a balance here. Don't turn naive. Don't turn to stone. A soft heart with real boundaries is stronger than a closed one pretending to be safety. The closed heart says, nobody can hurt me anymore. True, but nobody can reach you either. Just walls, talking to more walls. That's not victory, that's fear wearing a crown. Snorts. Take the crown off fear. Put it back under your feet. Not because you'll stop feeling it, but because you no longer take orders from everything it says. Tonight, you're allowed to set the burden down. Allowed to say, I can't solve what hasn't happened yet. Allowed to close your eyes without replaying a single loss. Whispers. Allowed to trust, even without every answer written out in front of you. Chuckles softly. Go on then. Breathe. Wash your face. Put the imaginary funeral back where it belongs. Ah, yours in the dark, Joker.